In this video, we're going to walk through Handout 9-3. We're going to prepare a depreciation schedule using the units of production method. We're told that we have a piece of equipment that cost $110,000 and has a $10,000 estimated salvage value. So we're going to need to take the difference between the two, that $100,000 in cost, and we want to match it with future revenues. In the straight line method, we do this evenly, an equal amount per year. In our units of production method, we're going to estimate its useful life rather than in years and in hours of usage. We think the machine is going to last or have a 20,000 hour productive life. So we need to calculate our depreciation rate per hour rather than the amount per year. So we take the $100,000 cost, the depreciable cost, and spread it over 20,000 hours, and we get $5 per hour. So every year for the next 5 years, when we use our machine for 1 hour, we will charge $5 in depreciation expense to the revenues we've generated. So we're given also actual usage. Again, this isn't after the fact stuff. We don't know whether or not the actual usage will be more than 20,000 hours or whether the actual usage will be less than 20,000 hours. This 20,000 is just an estimate. So let's go ahead and calculate our annual depreciation expense. Again, we're going to take our rate per hour and multiply it by our actual level of usage. So in the first year, our depreciation expense will be $25,000. That's $5 per hour times 5,000 hours. Our accumulated depreciation is $25,000. Our carrying value will be our $110,000 cost minus $25,000 in accumulated depreciation, or $85,000. Our depreciation expense in the second year will be our $5 in cost. We've used it fewer hours, only 3,000 hours, so 5 times 3,000 is 15. Our accumulated depreciation goes up to 40,000, and our net carrying value goes down to 70,000. In the third year, we again use the equipment for 5,000 hours. So 5,000 times 5 gives us our annual depreciation expense of $25,000. Our accumulated depreciation now is the 40 plus 25 for a total of 65,000. Our net book value is our carrying value of 110 minus 65, which brings us down to $45,000. In year 4, we use the equipment for 4,000 hours. 4 times 5 is 20. Our accumulated depreciation goes up to 85, and our carrying value comes down to 25,000. Now, in the 5th year, we've used our equipment for, again, 4,000 hours at $5 an hour. That suggests we should take depreciation expense of $20,000. Now, if we do that, let's take a look and see what happens to our accumulated depreciation and our net book value. Our accumulated depreciation is 85 plus 20, 105,000, and our net book value goes down to 110 minus the 105. It goes down to $5,000, which is below our estimated salvage value. We never want to depreciate below our estimated salvage value. So in year 5, we won't take the $20,000 in depreciation expense. We just have $15,000 we can take, because if we take $15,000, that gives us $100,000 in accumulated depreciation and brings us down to our estimated residual value. So in our units of production or usage methods, we need to be sure that we don't depreciate below our estimated salvage value. In our next example, we have a machine that cost $55,000 and an estimated salvage of $5,000. So we have depreciable cost, or we have $50,000 in cost we need to match with future revenues. We think our machine is going to have a useful life of 25,000 units. We're going to be able to produce 25,000 units with this piece of equipment. So if we take the 50,000 and divide it by 25,000 units, we get $2 per unit. Again, we have information on actual usage, which might be higher than we estimated or lower, but it's an after-the-fact calculation. So first year, what are we going to do? We've got 12,000 hours of usage, or actually I guess that should say units. So 12,000 units times $2. We've got depreciation expense from that first year of $24,000. Our accumulated depreciation then is $24,000, and our carrying value is our 55 minus our 24,000 in cumulative depreciation, or 31,000. Year 2, we've used the equipment to produce 10,000 units. 10,000 units times $2, we're going to have $20,000 in depreciation expense, 44,000 in accumulated depreciation, and a $11,000 net book value or carrying value. Now, our depreciation expense in year 3, we're using the equipment to produce 7,000 units. 7,000 units times $2 a unit would be $14,000 for our depreciation expense. But notice, what if we take depreciation expense of $14,000? Clearly, that's more than our carrying value, and we don't want to depreciate below our estimated salvage. So if it's carrying at 11, we have 5,000 in estimated salvage. The most we can take for depreciation expense in that final year is $6,000. That brings our accumulated depreciation up to 50 and our net book value down to 5,000. Now, if our usage was less than expected and we could still keep using it in future years, this would just extend out for more years.